Attention is basically the only thing that governs the success or failure of your business. And so today in this video, we're going to go over two futuristic ways of getting attention and reaching out to prospects. You can either start these as a business in themselves or use it for your own business and just basically leapfrog the entire competition. One thing before we get started, I recommend you watch this video at 1.5 or 2 times speed. You can press shift and the greater than symbol on your keyboard to speed it up, or if you're on a phone, just fucking figure it out. But let's get into the video. So there are essentially three ways. I'm going to go through two, but three ways to get in touch with people. So I was just kind of remembering that Alex Hormozi talks a lot about this in $100 million leads. But you have basically like warm outreach, okay? And so warm outreach would be kind of people that you know that you're talking to. So we're not going to cover that just because this doesn't apply to a lot of online businesses that you're going to start. But besides that, there are two ways to do it. So let's call it interrupt. So interrupt advertising. Okay, so interrupt advertising is basically, well, there's two kinds. So one of them is going to be paid ads. So if someone's scrolling through Facebook or Instagram, you're going to interrupt what they're looking at by running paid ads through that platform. And then the other way to do that would be to create content. So something like, YouTube or, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And you just create content and that lands on their page, okay? So these are both pretty equivalent because it's kind of a cold audience. You're just making content and you're getting in front of them. Now, I'll also call this category contact, okay? And so contact is the direct way of getting in touch with people. So there's a lot of different ways that you can get in contact with people, right? There's email, there's cold calling, there's texting. Okay, so I just drew out, we have email, call, text, direct message, so Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, okay? And these are essentially the main ways that people can directly contact businesses, okay? And this is going to depend really kind of on the niche that you're in. So if you're selling to enterprises, well, maybe calling isn't going to be the best. Maybe the people you're trying to get in touch with don't have a direct phone number you can get. But if you're calling local businesses, calling might be the only way to get in touch with them if they never check their email. And then you have things like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn is very niche dependent. Some companies use it, some don't at all. So yeah, those are basically your options for getting in touch with people. And let me just say that if you're a new business, you're probably going to be more on the side of contacting people, okay? If you're a new business, oftentimes you're not going to be running interruptions because, well, the last video I made was about this, but you kind of have to earn the right to be able to run paid ads to know what people actually want to see, what they want to hear, and how to generate leads in that way. And it's also more expensive and more kind of consuming. Like, you think about paid ads as you just put together some ads, but there's a lot of A/B testing. You have to constantly make and test new creatives. And same thing with creating content, obviously. You're always making new content. So this is going to be your path most of the time, especially if you're a new business. And now let's get into the ways that these can be improved on, okay? So one thing that I'll say is let's go new strategies and let's go number one right here, okay? And what this is going to be AI calling agent. So this is probably something that you've thought about before. And the thing with this is it's pretty easy to know when you're talking to an AI agent, right? Like one of these phone agents. The delays are wrong, the kind of intonation is wrong. It just feels it's the uncanny valley right now. And that's going to improve. And the thing about this is that this is probably illegal. If it's not illegal right now, it probably will be illegal. But it's also extremely hard to enforce, okay? Because the entire point is that it tries to sound like a human, and so at a certain point you can't say this is a human, this isn't, until they come up with some sort of blockchain technology where you have to verify your identity before you make a phone call. So for the foreseeable future, especially after a couple of years, this is going to become very dominant, and you can hop on this right now. By the way, I'm not selling anything. I haven't even tried to build this. I know it would be possible, but yeah, this is going to be the future. So one thing you could do with AI calling is when you cold call, you you're not exactly sure what the first thing you should say is. Okay, there's lots of ways to open a cold call, and it's kind of different per niche and per offer. But what you can do is you can quickly iterate through different scripts and test different things. Especially because it's a robot, it's extremely clinical and consistent. What you can do is you can say, all right, let's have 50 different, I'll just make these like 50 different ways of reaching out. Or these are 50 different openers, pretend, okay? All these boxes. And what we do is it randomly, every time it makes a call, it randomly chooses one of these boxes. And it'll make a call, it'll iterate that opener, and if we get a positive response, then it'll put a tick in this box. So we know we got a positive response. And eventually, you'll see that this one has like a 100% positive reply rate, and then this one has like a 75%. And what you can do is you'll find the one opener or the one script that works the absolute best, and it'll use that, and then, you can have kind of, there's this question in automation of like explore versus exploit, because you want to exploit the best option that you know of, but you also know that there's always something better, so you explore as well. So every, 1 in 10 calls, you're testing out a new script to see if it can be better. But regardless, this allows you to quickly test scripts the same way that you can quickly test cold email scripts, okay? So this is going to be a really good strategy. I really want to try to build this out at some point. I think it's extremely possible. And so, yeah, this is going to be awesome. So that's one way to kind of do it, right? AI calling, and then you probably want to have some sort of conversion system where they either book a call or, set up some other call with someone else. But now, the other approach is going to be called Omni Channel, okay? And so this is, I think, at least in my circle, kind of a meme, because it's like if you're selling a marketing system to someone, you say, oh yeah, it's Omni Channel, but you're just lying, and all you're doing is like running paid ads, but they think it's like the most, advanced thing ever. But in this case, that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is basically using all of these to reach out to them. So this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and any others that you can. Because typically, if you run like a cold email campaign, you would just be running this, right? And then let's say they actually positively respond, then you might go and you might give them a call. But you're never going to be hitting them with an email and then hitting them with a Facebook message, because it's just too complex for most people to manage, right? And so this omni-channel approach, this would have to be a product. I mean, there's already products for AI calling, so you could set up this testing system and kind of connect that or build out your own AI caller. But for omni-channel, this would have to be its own product, because you have to set up a way to take their Facebook page, their Instagram page, feed that into a system that can be like, okay, time to send a message to this contact. And now, here's the kind of thing with this, is that some of these are limited. Like Instagram, you can only send a certain amount of, messages per day, and you can only really create a certain amount of Instagram accounts. So you end up being limited by the amount of messages you can send. But then you have something where it's infinite, like cold email or like calling, where you can basically make as many calls or make as many email accounts and send as much as you want. And so you have this one, which is more scalable, which you can basically scale as much as you want. And then you have this one, which is more kind of limited, but potentially more powerful. Like an Instagram DM, people tend to pay more attention to their Instagram DMs than they do, like their Instagram inbox, than they do to their email inbox, right? And especially text. So text is limited right now. There's a lot of kind of carrier problems with sending large volumes of messages to different numbers, especially when you get bounces, things like that. And people, saying stop, like opt-out language, that can also cause problems. So you have this problem where you have some are limited and some are infinite. So it's not like you're going to send an email and then send an Instagram message for all of your contacts. But what you can do is so let's say that I'm selling websites, okay? And let's say some of the leads have no website and some of them have an old website. And I don't actually know if this is true, but let's just assume for the example, let's assume that no website is more valuable than someone with an old website, that they're more likely to buy, and because of that, the LTV to CAC ratio of these people is higher than the people with old websites, but these people are still profitable And so it still makes sense to reach out to these people as well. Okay? And so what we're going to do is we're going to pick out our cream of the crop prospects, which are these people in this case, and we'll send them the email, but then we'll also send them an Instagram message or a Facebook message or LinkedIn or whatever. And we know that we're making the best use of these messages because these are the highest value prospects. Now the only problem is, how do you basically feed in, here's the contact and here's the link to their Instagram or their handle. Can you please, send this message and give me a result, have like a integrated inbox so I can see what the results are. So that's sort of a problem. I haven't researched ways that you can do that. I'm sure like ManyChat or some shit like that could probably figure it out. But yeah, this is probably going to be a pretty strong approach as well. I'm sure some people are kind of doing it, but as far as I know, this is not a very popular approach, and I think it's especially strong. So yeah, I mean, do what you will with this information. I think this is what I'm going to try in the future. If it ends up working really well, I'll probably turn it into a product and try to sell it, or I'll just use it for my own business to build a business, just to fucking get more customers. So, yeah, you can make a decision between those. Give it a try. Let me know if you try one of these and how it works, because I know they're possible. They just might be a little bit challenging and potentially pretty fun to try to implement. So, thanks for watching the video. Hit that like and subscribe button. Smash that button.